Yeah, we're pumped today. We got the metal intro.
Yeah.
You know, some people have left comments saying they like the metal intro.
A bunch of people wanted the metal intro back. Well,
do you have a ska intro?
I don't know the difference. Between ska and metal.
Dude, Dave Southorn is here, by the way.
We got the expert.
In studio.
That's all we're going to talk about, actually.
Yeah.
So, yeah, forget football or basketball. We're going to talk music.
Dave gave us our big break.
Dave was one of the originals,
He's the very first.
And the first repeat?
And the first repeat.
Really?
Yeah, celebrity guest.
Wow.
Celebrity guest. We've had friends.
Yeah,
that,
of course.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But, thanks for joining us, everybody, today on the Shirts and Skins podcast. Matt Lamb, Brandon Minor's here. Mark Moss is gone.
Markless.
And filling his position is Dave Southorn. You know him. You love him. You're glad he's back. We know it. Dave, thanks for joining us.
Yeah, I am really excited to be back.
You were sitting around waiting for the call.
Yeah. For sure. And then anytime I couldn't do it, it ruined my week.
Yeah.
But no, I love being back. I always, like I said, I always loved you guys. And then we got to do the podcast and I had a blast. So
yeah,
I've been eager to come back.
Yeah, and we went back through, all the videos we've done, all the episodes. By the way, this is a big fact. This is episode 50, Dave.
Hey.
Wow.
Milestone. It's fitting. Yeah. It all worked together.
Well, we were talking, it's 1 year ago.
Almost 1 year ago that you were here.
And I was thinking about the same thing, too, because I was trying to remember what we talked about.
Thanksgiving a little bit.
And then we talking about the impending, eventually they were going to hire a new head coach.
Yeah.
And that's what we were discussing a lot last time. And it's worked out okay.
We just wanted Dave to come on and just gloat on Colorado. It was like all lined up to just go off on Colorado for a full 2 hours.
Yeah.
I'm actually wearing a Max Sabbath shirt, so it's actually a metal band. It is a metal band, but I have my Colorado hood.
There you go.
They can see that.
The Homefield one. So.
There it is.
Also, shout out to Dave on the home team.
Apparel.
A home team apparel. I bought Homefield.
Yes, that's Homefield hoodie too. So.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I bought the BSU jacket.
You did? Isn't it the best?
It's the best.
Oh, I got so many compliments that first time I wore it.
The best.
And I've seen it a couple times now around the stadium. It's been awesome.
Yeah.
You have it too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. 30% off right now.
I took your picture.
Oh yeah,
slyly.
You did. You were
across the way.
You were like, there's an area where people can go through like a tunnel, and right across the tunnel was Matt. And
how much sway do you have at Homefield? Because I want them to put more out there, more stuff out there, more BSU stuff, maybe a basketball version or something.
Sure. Yeah, I bet they would. I do have some pull. They are my friends.
Where are they based out of?
A bit of an influencer.
Okay.
Indianapolis.
Okay.
So they love hoops.
I have the gray hoodie that has the state outline with the horse.
Yeah. And they were
soft sweater
sweatshirt. Right when they started doing that it was like, oh, they need to use that logo more. And it wasn't them necessarily that did it.
Yeah.
But once that was there, you started seeing it a lot more. And I think a lot of people were like,
trendsetters.
Oh, that's a great logo. So.
I wonder when we're gonna go to the lowercase BSU logos and start I'm starting to feel a little like,
let's get that in
a little nostalgic for that.
Yeah. Because my favorite logo was the state and the horse.
For sure.
And for decades, they wouldn't touch it because they wanted to solidify that BSU brand, the horse, all the stuff. And then they, like you said, they started seeing it. But now I'm like, I got a few of them. I like them. And now I'm thinking BSU, lowercase.
Get a little hip. One of the Homefield hoodies has the helmet from like 1973 on it with the horse head. They only really did it for like 2-3 years. Ooh. My mom has that one. She loves that one. That's like her favorite. So anyway, go right now. 30% off.
30% off.
Yeah, if you're going to buy stuff from Homefield, you have a code, right?
I don't have a code
right
now.
You don't have a
code? You just go. It doesn't matter if you have a code or not right now.
Oh, okay.
No kickbacks
they're awesome.
to you then?
No.
Okay.
They show love other ways.
Okay.
Okay. You don't need to get into specifics on that one.
Well, guys, we're here.
Okay.
We're going to talk football.
Yep.
We're going to talk the Wyoming game. We're going to talk a little bit of basketball. I know, Brandon, did you see the game? We don't need to get into it, but yes or no, did you find
What do you mean?
The game this morning?
Oh, the basketball game.
Did you know there was a basketball game?
Oh, the basketball game. No, I watched the highlights from BNN Broncos, so shout out to them for putting out like a 4-minute highlight thing. Was it televised? It looked like a YMCA.
I think there was a way you could get it.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know.
Roundabout way. I didn't want to pay for it.
Yeah, I did not. I just saw the notes, or I just saw the 4-minute highlight on basketball, and then I just saw some of the stats on it.
Okay. I can't watch some of those because I get really jealous because I'm like, I would like to be in the Cayman Islands. Right
yeah,
you know what
BJ.
I mean? Yeah, like the USVI tournaments and all that stuff for the Maui ones.
Did you ever go to any of those?
No,
Okay.
I see they Boise
Statesman.
State. Boise State really started going to those after I left. Yeah. So there was one, if you guys remember, it was, God, I can't remember the name of it, but they played in Fullerton and then they played at Arrowhead Pond, like now Honda Center in Anaheim. Okay. They played in that one of those tournaments, so I went down there for that one, which was fine.
I'd rather
around Thanksgiving.
I'd rather not travel to California. I'd rather go to like the Bahamas or Maui.
Oh, me too. I wish. And they did like a an off-season. They did that foreign trip to like Costa Rica while I was covering them, but I didn't get to go.
Yeah. Maybe we'll start a GoFundMe. Get Dave to the Cayman Islands.
Just go to the Caymans for fun.
Well, for basketball too.
Okay. Yeah.
So we're gonna talk football, basketball. We're gonna talk a little bit Heisman, Jeanty, playoff stuff. We're also gonna play 5 questions.
Oh yes, I was hoping so.
So you didn't get 5 out of 5 last time, but you got a chance to prove yourself. So we're gonna do that.
So we do have the all-knowing, effervescent Colorado fan here. So we're all excited to get. So we have that on the board. We're excited to get the Colorado take.
Yes.
So Dave was before. He was kind of setting the bar low for Colorado. I'm curious to see what his take is later on Colorado. But do you want to talk about the game?
Yeah, let's do it. So I need to preface the story.
Okay.
Give a little bit of maybe an excuse. So my daughter played basketball in Mountain Home last night. First off, who schedules a Saturday night game at 7:30 in Mountain Home? Yeah, on Saturday night in the fall.
Yeah. So she's not playing school basketball.
This is school basketball. She's on JV. So I had the game on my phone. When she wasn't in the game, I was watching more closely.
Sure.
When she was in the game, maybe if she was on defense, I wouldn't.
I'd
watch the phone a little bit more.
You didn't miss much.
No,
well, I'm not saying I missed it. There were just parts that.
Well,
there's a lot of details I missed.
Yeah, it wasn't. So my initial thoughts. One, when Jeanty ripped that long run
at the start, the 61-yarder,
I was like, we're back.
Oh yeah.
I immediately thought like he's gonna have 2 more of those this game. He's gonna be out by third quarter. We're back because we had Carry-On that came back in as an offensive lineman. I was excited about that. And then, all week we just heard how bad the Wyoming defense was. Pass and run.
It was like a 21-point spread.
I think the spread was 21 points, which you never bet that spread
in Wyoming.
The only bet you ever should make, if it's mostly anybody against Wyoming in Laramie, is the under. 17-13. Is the most possible Wyoming score you can imagine. Like, if you just random number generator, 17-13 would come out 50% of the time with them. Yeah.
And I'm surprised there's not like a random safety or just a random extra point kick return.
For the wind just took it somewhere.
Yeah, exactly. I hate playing in that place. I hate it. But man, we were bad. We were bad that game, right? Yeah. I don't know how else you would describe it.
And I say sometimes that can be a mark of, okay, maybe the team's not as good as you think. But sometimes if you're a team that's good and you're just off that night and you still find a way to win, kudos to you.
Which one is it last night?
I wonder because it's like they didn't make any horrible mistakes. It wasn't like they were turning the ball over a bunch or anything like that. Yeah. It was like they were just kind of stuck in the mud, Yeah. We're like, anytime that there was an opportunity to really like put the dagger in him. Like you said, that when he scored that, the play before, I said to my mom, I'm like, I was watching my parents, and I'm like, I think Wyoming was 100th or 109th, one of the two, in rush defense. Next play, he breaks it.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay.
Finally.
And I was like, all right, doing the math, going like, he's going to run for 250.
Yeah.
And it just didn't happen. And again, credit to Wyoming. They usually, I don't know what's in the water there, they usually have a pretty good defense. And maybe they didn't this year, but last night I was impressed by what they did is they just said, you know what, they're going to stack the box.
Did they stack the box?
Yes, but also they did a great job just getting, messing up those running lanes, just getting into them, just mucking it up a little bit, really honestly until that last scoring drive.
Yeah.
Because there were like that touchdown though was blocked. It was beautiful. The way that they showed that replay, just that classic like zone cut back, and he was gone. And I was like, they can do this all game.
More of that.
And they couldn't.
See, I don't know. I've been going through this loop of questions. I'm like, were they good or were we bad? Or were they good or we bad? Or they good?
It's like a San Jose State thing, right?
Yeah, and it's like, why?
Well, it's hard to say they're good. I don't want to take anything away from Wyoming, but they were 2-8.
Exactly.
Right.
And their defense and offense statistically atrocious. Okay, and so you think, wow, that's not a good sign for us, right? And then you take that and you say, really, we played not great against Nevada. You know, we didn't play great against Nevada. We didn't play great against San Jose State. We didn't play great
for the first half.
That's true.
Some garbage time points there. Okay, yeah, but I mean, if you look at that game, we could have lost that game really easily. San Jose State.
Yeah,
they hurt themselves. They were 3 yards away from 21-0.
Yeah. Right. It's true. Been bad. And then we're just surviving. We're just surviving, and it's kind of frustrating because you want to see us, you know, pulling away a little bit against these bad teams, against Wyoming and against Nevada, who are at the bottom of the pack, at a time where we could be distinguishing ourselves as the best of not even just, the Big 12, but everybody but the SEC and the Big 10 and the ACC. It was like we could be the best. There's no question, but we keep leaving this doubt, like, they're not that good. And when we look at other teams, and Mark says this a bunch, he's like, BYU, they don't look good, you know? And so they start losing. We don't look good. Right. We don't look good. And you could say they give us their best shot. It's a late conference game. You just got to win. Okay, but come on. You can't just keep doing this and expect, you know, to remain in the argument. I mean, the minute we fall down and falter, we're done. Like,
agreed.
We're done. Right. But like Oregon State or the Mountain West Championship, we're out. That's it. There's no margin of error. And I would rather be, and I'm kind of going on a rant here, my apologies, but I would rather be ranked that 5th through 8th spot so that we get a home playoff game. Mm-hmm. And instead of the 4. Instead of the 4, I would rather have, because I'd just rather play anybody at home.
Yeah.
I just think how special that would be for Boise State in our stadium in a mid-January game, I guess. Yeah. Or, I don't know, New Year's game.
It'd be late December, the first ones. Yeah.
Yeah, I just think that would be a special time. And then, you know, whatever happens, happens. But I just feel like we had the opportunity last week. Okay, we got by. We snuck by. This week sucked.
Yeah.
That sucked, man. Yeah. Like, I just wasn't happy. And I want to get into the details. If you guys don't have any other takes on that, I really want to get into the details of all 3 phases, if that's okay. I guess we'll just start on special teams. I really think, you know, we talked about it with Brad. I'm not sure if you saw that episode. We talked about it with Brad. When we're coming out flat, you need to play anywhere you can get it. And I just kept thinking, man, it'd be nice to have a block punt or, like, you know, a special teams play, a return. Yeah. But instead, Riley does the same thing. He has a decent return, and then he fumbles one. You know, like through the breadbasket again.
One. I mean, he recovered it, right?
Yeah, but on the 10.
But he can't catch it.
He did, and Tyler Crow was like, you need to run, son. I can see how he pointed, like, oh.
Yeah. And so it's like we can't make a play on special teams, and we need him on nights like that where we're flat. And then I don't know. I'm super frustrated.
Missed another field goal 2 games in a row.
Missed a long field goal.
It was long.
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah, for me, it's like looking at and Danielson always says this, everybody's banged up, right?
Okay.
And so you can't use that excuse. Everybody's hurt. But, I mean, you look at the O-line, and we've had some major holes there. We got Carry-On back, which, by the way, he also got 2 big penalties.
Yeah, right? Early on in the game especially, right?
Yeah, holding.
And it's like, okay,
the thing that
is this worth it?
And you can keep going, but
sorry, Roger, that was not.
But it's like, yeah, we're banged up. They're missing their 3 starting defensive linemen. I mean, they're missing as much as anybody.
And you do the math against that sort of running attack, and you're like, oh, should have teed off on him.
I know
that they did in the first quarter, but
anybody, we should have had, you know, whatever. We should have had Dirk Cutter running for 200 yards back there, right? Which
dude was out there shirtless before the game.
He was warming up.
He was.
I don't know. I'm super torn, and I'm coming off on the side of, man, that was just a really poorly played game. I don't think we beat Wyoming by more than 5 points in a decade. You know, but we just we just haven't done well. But it's like I'm really kind of frustrated. And we won. That's the big thing, and I get it, and that's great. But there's some big problems that we have going on.
We also didn't have Tubner
and Simpson.
Tubner and Simpson are
it's a big deal. What do you think about? What are your thoughts on the defensive backs, Dave?
I was thinking about this. It was very funny because when we were looking at the brackets, and we talk about my alma mater later, I was wondering about, like, okay, what kind of team would be really dangerous for Boise State? And I thought a team that can throw it really well would be a really dangerous team. And I was like,
I don't even know if
we can't throw the ball.
Oh my!
I don't even know if it needs to be really well. Just throw it deep.
Just throw it.
Just
somewhere.
try it.
Someone will get it, right? And I that worries me because I remember at the Utah State game, they were so dominant on offense it didn't matter.
Yeah.
But Utah State had way too many
They did.
easy looks in the passing game. That Royals kid was killing them.
Yeah.
And it wasn't even close. He was dominating them, even though they were getting dominated more by Boise State's offense, so you didn't really notice it. And it's kind of been that way for a while. And there were, those jump balls. Of course, we saw that one as Sargent had that one like inside the 5. And there were some pass plays where I don't know if it's a talent question or what. Honestly, I think it is it's not quite at the same level it used to be. And I think we've talked about that before with their recruiting and stuff like that. Is it just feels like that position is a step behind. Whether it's, I don't know why. I wish I knew. But it just seems like you see there's no one out there where you're like, all right, I feel confident that guy going up against the team's number 1.
Yeah.
There's nobody where you're like, yeah, I feel good about that. Yeah. And there's guys too where where I thought, oh, this guy's going to ascend. Caneo, guys like that, where I was like, oh, this guy's going to ascend. And then, he's second teamer.
Well, Irby and, McCoy's ended up getting a little bit better this year. Mm-hmm. You think Irby and Banks, who are 2 transfers from P4 schools, would be... And you heard a lot about Irby, especially during the spring, especially in fall camp. Like, okay, and at first when I saw that, I said, okay, that was a great call for them to add an experienced transfer if they felt like maybe that talent wasn't where they wanted it to be. And I think he's been fine. It's just he hasn't quite been. I don't think as awesome as maybe he looked in fall camp, to be honest. Can I give you the secret to beating Boise State?
Sure.
I have it. I have the recipe.
I have my guesses, but
I have the recipe.
Don't tell Trent Bray.
Yeah.
He listens, I think.
He does.
Yeah. He's an avid listener of the pod. Yeah. Quick passes.
Mm-hmm. And avoid the blitz.
So you negate the blitz because the blitz is our defensive specialty, right? So if you get the ball out quick and then 5 to 10 deep throws, and you're going to score probably 21 to 35 points.
That sounds exactly like Colorado's offense. That sounds exactly like it. They're way low in yards per completion.
Okay.
Because they throw a lot of quick stuff, but then they hit the big ones. Teams like that. I mean, obviously wouldn't be necessarily them, but I think, and are those, I mean, in the Mountain West though, do those teams don't necessarily exist?
Yeah, I don't know.
Do they?
I don't know.
Like Utah State,
San Jose State.
San Jose, sure. Utah State's maybe they were close back when, But
if I'm UNLV and I'm preparing to beat Boise State, I'm like, that's how we do it. We don't hold on to the ball very long. We're just going deep because the interesting thing about our secondary was we knew they were going to pass at San Jose State. We still couldn't stop it, right? And then we sold out on the run on Wyoming, and they were like, I'm just going to throw a deep one. And we're like, okay. I mean, the corners...
Josh Allen offense where they're just like, go.
And if they're selling out on the run as a cornerback, all you got to do, you're not going to make a lot of tackles, right? Mm-hmm. You just got to make sure they don't throw it deep behind you because you can stop them. You can stop them on a run down for the most part, and then you can let them have a 5-yard play. Just don't have them have a 60-yard play.
Right.
And it's just, anyway. So it's like they were looking at the run the whole time, and they get a deep bomb. And then San Jose State, they knew it was going to be a pass on basically every play, and they got just, worked pretty good. Yeah. So I guess I just don't understand what they're what they're focused on.
And they got a few turnovers, obviously, against San Jose, but just for the most part, in a lot of those games, just haven't been able to do that. If they were able to generate some of those turnovers, guaranteed, obviously, that the math always says so, but that game would flip. Yeah. And they haven't been able to do that.
Can I make a request to the DBs?
What?
Unless you bat the ball down, don't cheer.
That's all.
If it's an overthrow, just go back. Go to the next play.
I see the memes. It's just like a video of a kid dancing. Really going crazy. And says a DB when a quarterback throws it 10 yards on the receivers.
It's like you didn't do anything. He overthrew him. So quit cheering and quit doing the seatbelt thing and whatever.
Who was it? JP, John Patrick. He posted it, and it got a lot of run. And he's like, "Can you stop that?" And it's been consistent every game. They've been doing that.
It's like, guys, what are we celebrating here?
Yeah.
Do you think Tubner was a big coverage loss? I mean,
no. Sorry, no.
Yeah.
No, honestly, don't.
Wait, tell us how you really feel.
He's one of those guys I like. He's a good player, and he's especially at that position, like that safety spot. you can't underestimate having someone who, and I hate having to use this word, but someone who's really smart back there.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, John Johnson was the smartest players I ever covered. So good.
Really?
And Tubner's similar thing. Maybe not as talented, but having that back there really, you know, can help get its defense in its right alignments, all that stuff. And so you definitely miss that part. But in terms of the coverage aspect, yeah, honestly, like, didn't help.
Yeah.
Or, I mean, like, it didn't. I don't think it made a huge difference. You know.
Yeah.
Does it worry you that we're just surviving these games?
I don't know.
What's your initial reaction?
I think they've done a good job of being able to kind of close them out. I mean, they were losing. They were losing by, you know, they were down by 3 points at Wyoming with 10 minutes left in the game.
I know. Well, and you know what? To their backup quarterback, the tight end was just suited up. He's like, I'll start throwing it.
Yeah, Swoboda, right? But it was very funny because you also wonder, well, where was that all game? Because that last drive, the last scoring drive was like, oh,
yeah,
there it is.
Yeah.
Like run. A nice pass from Madsen on that camper toss.
Yeah.
Like, oh, if they had done that all game, it, you know, would have been a cakewalk.
Yeah.
But that long touchdown run and those, that looks more like, oh yeah, that's
like
their
we should
ball.
have done that on every drive, essentially. Because one of the things we did really well on San Jose State was, and Nathan Carroll talked about this, was our, like, these data guys, they love breaking it down in so many different ways. Success rate of a play.
Yeah.
And it was basically 92% where every play or every drive ended, like at San Jose State, we were just scoring all the time. We're having really successful drives. Wyoming, we're basically zero. I mean, it's like there's nothing. There, like, from the first quarter to the very last drive, all the in between, all third quarter, you know, not much going on in the second quarter, was like duds, 3s and outs.
Yeah. And like
against a poor defense.
Yeah. And that's sort of game where you said you need special teams play, you need to turn over something like that. They got nothing, and then the offense also wasn't able to do anything. Yeah. So that's why it was like, it wasn't, for even when they were down, I'm like, they're going to find a way to win this. Right. I really felt that way. So I think that when you talk about surviving, sure, but there is something to be said about, like, even if it's like they are down by 3 in the fourth quarter at Wyoming. Yeah. For me, I was like, they're going to figure it out. They'll figure it out. And they did for one drive, but that was it. Yeah. You know what I mean? That was what they needed. Yeah. But.
And in the press conference, I mean, I guarantee that's what Dirk Cutter's going to say. We scored more points than them.
Yeah, get over it.
And that's what it comes down to.
I'm sure Dirk would say get over it.
He would.
In November, that's what you want, right? Yeah. Score more points than the other team. And that's the goal for the week.
Well, that's his job.
Yeah. Can I bring up a tweet?
Oh.
This is not the tweet of the week.
Okay.
Or tweet related.
A co-tweet of the week? What is it?
It has to do with the last drive.
Okay.
Well, not the last scoring drive where Boise State took the lead. Zach Gelb. You know Zach Gelb show?
Yeah, Zach Gelb show.
Okay. So he tweeted, Ashton Jeanty was hurt. Boise State was down 3 and looked lost without him. Jeanty comes back in and puts up 53 of the 73 yards on the Boise State TD drive. Boise State up by 4. And then a little shout out to Jim Seeney, Mr. Seeney.
Oh, he was our high school video tech teacher?
Yeah. He said that was an actual Heisman moment. No fluff, no grandstanding, just his team's season and dreams on the line. And number 2, unselfishly carrying them home. He epitomizes the Heisman trophy.
I texted that. I texted that to you. Like, I legitimately thought that was his Heisman moment of all the events all year. That drive. I wish he would have scored the touchdown. That drive was his Heisman moment.
Jubar got it right because it was like a really,
yeah. Because he was beat up. He kept coming out, which is so rare. And it was like, we needed something, and no one else was going to do it but Ashton Jeanty.
And he did it.
He
put the team on his back and did it.
Yeah.
There was a moment where they showed him on the sideline. I think it was Mark Thornton, the chaplain, talking to him, and it was like, oh, he's done.
Yeah, I thought he was done.
I was like, he's not coming in.
Yeah.
Because I think it was Mark that was talking to him, and I was kind of like...
The chaplain.
And I was
he had his helmet off, and he's just on the sideline.
And he's talking to him. I'm like, he's giving a pep talk saying, hey, it's okay, you know, all that. And I'm like, oh, God, he's not coming back out. And then when he did, that first play, he looked like a decoy. And I'm like, I don't know about this. And then they gave him the ball, you know, and I agree. But here's the thing. We can get the Heisman talk, but...
Did you see how that looked?
But the thing that sucks, and I'll admit that sucks. Talk to anyone outside of this valley. Not scoring a touchdown on a drive against 2-8 Wyoming.
Okay, you're 100% right.
Yep.
Not going to get anybody going.
Yeah.
But for anybody that saw it and cared, Yes, I agree. But you know what I mean?
If you're an Ashton Jeanty fan, that's his Heisman moment. If you were to describe it to a random fan, he came back in.
No, but you guys don't understand. You don't understand.
He beat this really crappy team who has a really crappy defense.
Yeah, they're 2-8. Let's get over that.
Oh, good job.
And it was in a place. It's okay. It's all right. You know that state. Okay, there's Colorado. It's the other state.
Yeah,
it's
everybody hates them.
State. It's that one.
They hate everybody else.
Open land.
Yeah. No, that sucks. I mean, it would be nice if it was against Oregon.
Sure. Right.
But to keep our season alive, we only have one thing going, is to make the playoffs anymore. And so that just kept our season alive, which is
100%.
As sad as it was. Are you going to get into the tweet of the week, or do we?
Because it talks about some of Boise State's.
Let's do it, because we need to talk about both of that.
I'm bringing this up right now.
Bring it up. I had
on screen.
I had an NSFW tweet.
Yeah.
Do you want me to show it to you, Dave?
Yeah.
I tweeted out halfway through. Let me grab it.
Tweeted at Nathan Carroll.
I tweeted Nathan Carroll. Beep. Okay, get out of here, Apple. Okay. I tweeted at Nathan Carroll because he's like, our offense sucks this week. And I tweeted the following. Can you read that?
Yeah, it says violent speed. Okay.
Yeah.
So Brandon says at Nathan _26_. Can we try to throw deep? Is that illegal? Asking for a friend.
Yeah.
Why would you say something so horrible online?
So I got my account's currently suspended. Yeah. I got violation of violent speech, inciting violence is what that tweet did.
For asking if it's legal?
Is the word throw in there?
I don't know. Yeah.
Throwing it deep.
You can read that as slow or fast as you want,
exactly,
and
right,
I still don't get it. And so I woke up and I was like, wait a minute. They said, hey, we flagged your account. Delete that tweet, or you're just suspended. Unless you delete that tweet. And so I challenged it and said, hey, this is a sports reference.
Yeah.
It's about our team not throwing the ball very far on offense. And I submitted it, and they came back. They're like, nope. You
didn't even say, you didn't even describe a deep pass, which some people call a bomb.
A bomb.
You didn't do anything.
I didn't. Come on, at least give me that.
Yeah.
So, that's where we're at.
So still waiting on approval then?
Yeah, so I can't get in.
Wait, that was on the thing formerly known as Twitter?
The thing formerly known as, yep. So I deleted it. I deleted the tweet because it was incendiary. It
incited violence.
I've seen so much worse. I've seen so much worse.
Regardless of where people's politics lie, exactly. We can agree that there's been way worse on that. And especially now, they're trying to loosen it up.
Apparently,
you even found the line, which I didn't existed anymore. So there you go.
So I didn't. I think
is that just a countdown at the bottom for
5 hours and 47 minutes.
Like a cool down. Like buddy, check yourself. Take a deep breath.
So I can't get on.
Playing the worst RPG of all time. It's got the cool down on the.
Yeah. So I guess that's what it is.
Will you respawn a different person? You think on Twitter?
Get full strength back.
I need to get on my burner account and get on there. So that's this is the NSFW portion of the episode.
Yeah.
About talking about the deep ball.
Every time we say pass, you got to hit the.
We apologize to our younger listeners.
Is it like the captions are going to say P and then like some random syllable SS to
and they'll say,
it?
that's they're saying no PASS.
Did you say ASS?
So I don't know. I'm really surprised that we can't throw deep. I was super surprised. We threw it once to Penry, and he had to pull the guy down and.
He made a smart play on that one because that guy had the advantage, so we kind of had to pull him down.
Yeah,
probably learned that at CU, but he's probably used to having crappy throws to him.
Probably about it. He did.
But before the show, we talk about what we were going to talk about. And kind of mentioned that, and that's been really interesting to me too. I don't know if it lies in Maddox Madsen, a lot of talk. He's not the biggest dude. Usually the math is, if he's his size, doesn't have a cannon, right?
Mm-hmm. Didn't he play baseball at one point?
That's why he's a big baseball player, right? All his siblings are named after baseball players.
Yeah, so
and I wonder that too, especially because of your running back. If you can run play action, you logistically would think that someone on the outside sometimes might have a one-on-one guy might get caught looking in the backfield and boom.
Never.
I don't know why that hasn't been more of a thing.
Because there's all this talk about loading the box with 8, 9,
and they
10,
have
10 guys.
And they have.
Well, if they do that, what do? Throw it deep, right?
Right.
But what do? We hit them with like 5-yard, 8-yard passes.
Right. Or you still give it to Jeanty.
Or you still get like, you can still do it.
He's our best long pass. But you've seen every game, right?
Yes, I have.
Okay, tell me one. Have we made a completion? What's our longest completion?
Have we looked up the stats on this? Because I was going to before this.
So the long in last night's game was 23 yards to Cam Camper. Probably that one along.
I think it might have been
But it's
that
the
one.
last
not
drive.
like a dig route or a long out.
Caples had a 20-yarder. Lauder had an 18-yarder. Strawn.
I'm talking in the
I
air.
know. Yeah.
Because
But 23
Lauder's
was
had a
long.
few where he's run. And I know Camper's caught a few at home where but no like long touchdown.
Look, they had a 41-yarder. They had a 63-yarder.
Yeah,
Wyoming did.
Wyoming did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which I do think during the broadcast, like, again, was so well from my parents. My mom mentioned, like, oh, the quarterback, they mentioned, like, their, like, aerial attack. And I literally was like,
What?
is that tongue in cheek? Because the game before, I think he was like 13 for 30 passing. But see, that's surprising. And I wish I had that off the top of my head. But, like, I'm hard pressed to think about, like, someone just ripping it downfield and someone getting it contested, uncontested, whatever.
I just think,
I can't think of it. Think of it.
I know there's been some at home where we've caught long passes, but we may have less than 5 long passes for the season.
Yeah.
Because I think there was, that Utah State game, I want to say that there was some.
Yeah.
But it's Utah State.
Okay. Yeah.
You know?
And I remember, I think it was a Washington State game, Bolt, he got a PI called on him, which is another reason to throw the deep ball too, right? If you've got that one-on-one and you can...
fast.
He's
fast, I think.
Because if you don't make the completion, at least you get a penalty because you burned them. But
their longest completion is 53 yards this season. So they've had looking here, the longest by anyone that's not Cam Camper was a 44-yarder by Bolt. Henry had a 42-yarder, and then Camper's longest is 53.
Didn't they say Jeanty had 14 30-yard runs last night?
Yeah,
over the whole season.
Well, I think it said
30
like
plus.
his 60 plus. I think he has 8, and that's the most since a decade ago by anybody.
Well,
but yeah,
like,
so the longest completion they've had all year is 53.
I guess that's why I always thought this offense was built so well, because you can do a couple things. You can have 3rd and short because Jeanty's going to gain you yardage on 1st and 2nd, so it's a better 3rd down. We were atrocious on 3rd down. Because we were a lot of times long, 3rd
1
long.
for 10.
Was that what it ended up being?
1 for 10. They were
bad.
4 for 14.
And then you can play action anything you want. In the middle, deep, down the sideline. You just need receivers that can just go up and get the ball. And I guess we don't have that.
That is also, too, when you talk about, maybe for me, maybe that's been the most surprising thing to me. Because when I looked at the receiving core that they had, I thought, wow. Yeah. They can do a lot of stuff, especially if Jeanty is as advertised. He's maybe been better than advertised, honestly. But like the receiving core, I thought, wow, they can go 5 deep.
Yeah.
And they can in a way, but not in the way maybe that you would hope. They can put 5 guys out there. They can
to block and 5
Is
yard
that the
outs.
thing? Are they too used to blocking?
Seal the edge, great.
Are they too used to blocking that they're just caught off guard when they're like, wait, I'm supposed to run a route there?
Yeah.
Ball at me, But and I really am interested to see. I don't know if you have to wait till the end of the season or whatever for why that's the case. There's still efficient passing the ball and all that stuff, but like it hasn't quite been a case where it's like, oh, here we go. There's perfect. You get up to the 40-yard line, and it's 2nd and 2. And you're like, oh, play action over the top, which they used to do every time with Kellen. Especially when Kellen's here. I bring up the Exalted One's name, but because it was so
but you knew
smart.
Titus Young. You knew Austin Titus.
Any of those guys, you would get, if it's like 2nd and 2 or whatever, and you're around, they're between the 40s, I would promise you, every time they were going to take that shot.
Yeah.
And I don't know why that's not possible. Of course, Dirk Cutter's a genius, and I take it. You know, this is not a knock on anything. I just wonder why there has to be something that he sees maybe where it's like that would not be the best play.
Well, last year we kept throwing. I mean, to Emac down the sideline.
Yeah.
We just kept throwing it.
Yeah,
and maybe that was Talen's just his comfort throw. But I always thought if you're throwing, and Mad Dog, he was off bad last night. I mean, he was off on.
He completed 54% of his passes. What
was his overall QBR or overall rating?
Rating was 108.
Well, what was it? What did we look at today?
But he was 14 for 26 for 168 yards. No touchdowns, no interceptions.
You also did bring up a good
18% QBR. 18.2.
A big difference. They don't have Eric McAllister. They don't have anyone like him.
Really? He was that good?
Yeah. He was awesome.
Yeah.
And he's been doing really well at TCU.
I just thought they could replace McAllister with two guys, Strawn and Bolt or something.
That's fair. That's fair. And then Camper, you know, I mean, he's ended up being good. There's one. See?
Yeah.
But you just that size and stuff they didn't have and have not been able to replicate that.
I really think Camper's great. I actually thought he'd get that 50-50 fade ball that we threw at the very last play of the game for us. But I think he's a good receiver going up and getting those.
Yes.
You know, and so like
he's the best one they have at it.
Yeah, I'm surprised they haven't thrown it more. I guess I'm just really, really surprised at that. Can we talk about Mad Dog? Maddox.
Do it.
What are your thoughts? What are our thoughts on Madison?
It seems like every other game is a bad game.
It's getting there.
Yeah, it's like
San Diego State, great, right?
San Diego State,
he was really good.
He was really good.
Yeah.
And then we played Nevada.
Not great.
Yeah, he made some good runs, but struggled. San Jose State.
Good.
Really good.
Really good.
And then Wyoming. So what do you mean every other game?
That's what I mean. Because it seems like every time Mark talks about how bad he was, and then the next game we're like, what, Mark? Like, he did great.
Look at that guy.
Yeah,
like,
look at this guy.
Yeah.
So again, Mark is right.
Mark was right on that. I don't know. Mark talks about this a lot, and if we were to expose him on our text messages, he does not. He doesn't think he's the starting quarterback next year, or at least, you know, because you could. Let's just project out. Whatever happens, we go to a playoff game. We do whatever we do. Ashton Jeanty's gone, and without Ashton Jeanty this year, we are a sub 500 team potentially.
Think so.
Potentially, yeah.
Okay.
And we could talk about that in a second. But
sure.
Malachi potentially transfers out.
Right.
We all of a sudden need a quarterback to win us a lot of games. Can Mad Dog do that? And that's kind of the question. Like, yes, he can at UNLV and San Jose State and some of these games. Yeah, he can do that. And maybe it's the receivers or maybe it's him. I don't know. But last night he missed a bunch. And Caples, when he threw his helmet down on the sideline, was that throw supposed to be anywhere near him?
Right.
Or was it I'm just frustrated and things aren't going as well as possible? Like, what is that?
Right. Like that, or that feeling that they're like maybe that close, you know, and it just hasn't clicked yet.
Yeah. What was
and
it? You know?
That's a good question. But what it screams to me, and you say when you see a guy who is that size, who is not an elite talent. The game manager phrase comes up.
Yeah.
And I think that a lot of times can be a dirty word and dirty phrase, and it probably wouldn't get me blocked on X. But
try it.
Yeah, be careful. Careful, Dave.
But I put Trent Dilfer and it blocked me, but
Trent Dilfer blocked
the ultimate game.
He would.
The ultimate game manager.
but I think that
dare you.
to be honest, that feels like his role.
Yeah.
And when he has to do that, I think he's pretty good. But there's times where it's like, okay, he's got to go out and make the plays. It doesn't always happen.
Yeah, he did it. In certain games, he did it. Like UNLV, he did it.
Right.
San Jose State, he did it. But last night, I mean, to your point, game manager, he's leading the nation in basically game manager stats.
Right.
Touchdowns, interceptions, no bad plays, no bad sacks. We're starting to get some sacks on our team, and maybe that's probably a lineman issue.
And the completion percentage usually is pretty decent. Obviously, wasn't this last one.
It wasn't great at Oregon. It wasn't great against Wyoming. It wasn't great. So I don't know. I mean, there's always these games where your strength gets taken away from you, and you need to turn to something else, right? And to Mark's point, he's like, that's going to happen, and we may lose the game, and we very well could have lost that game yesterday.
Yeah,
but he was off, man. He was
if
really
Jeanty
off.
stays down and doesn't come back in the game, I mean, do we score on that last scoring drive? I don't know. I wouldn't bet on it.
Breezy. So the drop off between Jeanty and Breezy is basically as big of a chasm as you could find in sports, in my opinion.
Yeah.
I mean, Breezy, he just has shown, like Sire Gaines showed, he can get yards. I talk about this almost every podcast. I feel like that's been our biggest injury this year.
Sire Gaines. I would have to put that way up there.
Yeah. Because
I can't tell how many games I just sit there and I go, where is he?
Yeah.
You know?
Because Sire Gaines could get 50 to 80 yards, and he could take 10 carries away from Jeanty, and it would give Jeanty a little bit of rest and like can continue a drive and get 5 yards and even make big plays like he was doing against Southern Georgia and Georgia Southern, excuse me. I'll never get that name right. And then I guess he got injured at Portland State
Portland State.
It was the Portland State game.
Yeah.
And that was such a huge loss for us because the difference between Jeanty and Sire wasn't that bad because Sire made a bunch of plays at Georgia. And he was, had a ton of confidence. And Breezy, for whatever reason, that's
it's
just
not
a
that
big
he was
drop
bad last night. I mean, he had a 10-yard run.
During that drive, I think, too.
So he averaged 4.4 yards. I mean, he only carried it 5 times. So it's not horrible because you see some of those games before, and they're only giving the ball once or twice, but it's like for 1 yard, negative 2 yards.
Right.
He can't.
So it's not an impact.
He hasn't made any sort of impact consistently at all.
Yeah, last night was more of it. Not much, but
well, just because he was forced into it.
He had to.
So I think that could be a potentially big problem for us next year if we don't get Sire Gaines back or whatever happens. I think they need to bring somebody in.
And you have to say that now. You know, like you don't know what's going to happen.
Yeah.
Because he's going to get a red shirt, right?
Right.
Sire Gaines. Yeah.
Yeah. So.
And I mean, he's our best, right? They have a good shot at keeping him, but what if a big Power 4 team comes and says, "Hey, we need you."
Agreed. Right. So you don't know, but
you can't pay him.
It'll be. I mean, that's getting ahead of ourselves, but it'll be fascinating because if you have a quarterback question, you got that.
I just
more stuff for us to talk about.
Yeah, it's gonna be a fun off season no matter what.
Do you think Maddox starts next year? Do you think he's the starter next year?
If I had to bet right now, yes. Yeah. And I would be really interested to see. I'll take Dirk at his word that he won't be coaching this, next year. Whoever they put in, whatever they implement, if it's better suited for his skill set.
Yeah.
If it's going to be more of a spread out sort of a thing, and sure, even if they have Sire Gaines, less, I don't say reliant because, reliant on the best running back in the game, but so built around one style, one person that I do wonder maybe there is a system that would work better for Madsen that he would look, that it might match his skill set a little more, and whoever they bring in might be able to do that, which would be interesting and cool to see. Yeah. I would venture yes, but also to your point, I would be surprised if Malachi Nelson was still here. But I think the recipe would be the same. Bring someone in to really hopefully push him, and if that person is better, give him the nod. And obviously, I think there's always going to be some coaches are going to try to say they're unbiased or whatever. There's going to be a little bit of like, hey, remember that game for us that he won? Like that will be in the back of their minds.
Yeah,
but
you got to.
But they got to. They regardless. I think that if Nelson leaves, bring in someone again that is of a high caliber that could really push.
I really like Mad Dog. Like I really like him, and I like him because he's a winner.
That's exactly. Yeah. That's like the biggest thing that when you hear people I know that have worked with him that are there now, people that aren't there, that's what they always say about him. Like that is the dude you want leading you, which is great. And you can't underestimate that, but also maybe there are some limitations physically.
Yeah, and he seems like a humble kid, just like he's just there to work. Maybe at his stature, he's not, going to be the bragging type, right? But I think that's probably part of his life of just being the underdog or whatever. And so you could call him underdog instead of Mad Dog. Maybe part of it.
Oh,
there you go.
But that's it fits.
Yeah,
it fits the program that has made their bones on people like that.
Yeah. How bad would it suck if you're Mad Dog to compete against Talen, right? And have to win the job against Talen, have to win the job against Malachi, have to win the job again your junior year against somebody else,
It's
and then
fair.
potentially somebody else, like always having to prove yourself over and over and over. But we need it. We need that,
and you do need that, right? Exactly. And then you don't love it, but that's what you'd have to have, because if they just clear the lane and say, oh, it's going to be his job, then you're not bringing in someone that if something happens to him or if he falters, if he gets hurt, that's going to be near what you need to be able to still be a successful team.
Yeah.
I have a question. Are we more lenient with Mad Dog's 54% completion percentage than we were with Talen's 54% completion percentage?
I always say, to that point, a backfield with Talen and Jeanty would be a potent mix, would be an awesome thing to look at. But I also haven't seen that Talen's done incredible at Arkansas. And I honestly wonder how happy Talen is right now.
Yeah.
Do you think he would have been happier staying at BSU? Because we have a playoff run.
I wonder what the priorities are, to be honest. Like, did he want to be a starting quarterback in the SEC, get that sort of...
Which is special.
Right. Is that more important to him than maybe just being, part of the team here and making the playoff? What is more important to him?
I don't know.
Boise State, if he wants to go to the NFL, Boise State is not known for getting quarterbacks in the NFL.
Correct. Or you think about like Eric, like McAllister. McAllister left. And it's like, what's more important to him? Clearly, being closer to home and whatever additional things he got. That was more important.
Yeah.
I don't think going to TCU, he was like, they're definitely going to make the same run they did 2 years ago.
Yeah, national.
I don't think so, And so, I do wonder. I mean, I bet Talen won that job, and you get to work with Bobby Petrino.
McAllister just wanted to stay close to Avalos, I think.
Yeah, love each other.
Yeah. I don't know. I look at that, and Arkansas hasn't done well as of late. They've been losing a couple games in a row, and so you think things start in the SEC. If you're not winning, the pressure builds.
And it can get out of hand.
It can get out of hand and get personal. To your question, Talen last year showed a lot of games like Maddox last night, where Maddox was just missing open guys over and over and over and killing drives, like on 3rd down and 8, and he just wasn't making that 12-yard pass. That was Maddox. And if Maddox does that a couple games in a row, you're pulling him. Like everybody's wanting to pull him.
I just wonder if we expected more from Talen, right? And the Mad Dog is like, just be the game manager.
Yeah,
right?
And
you're probably right.
I think, again, it has to do with like a stature thing. You look at Talen Green and you go, oh my God, like that guy looks like an NFL quarterback.
Yeah.
Maddox Madsen does not. So you did take a 55% completion percentage game because you were also like, but he could spring one and he could go 60.
Yeah.
And so with Madsen, I think you're more like, all right, you need to just hit a couple more of those passes because he could scramble around, but he's not going to do the same things that Talen did. And I think because of that, you would take that with knowing what else he can do.
Talen was wild because you'd have those Mountain West Championship game at UNLV where he's a world beater.
Yeah.
And then you'd have the UCF at home games or you'd have the game. He couldn't do anything. He couldn't do a single thing. Mm-hmm. Run, pass, throw, skip, hop. He's like, he couldn't do it. Right. And you just think, man, I wish. Yeah. That'll always be the like alternative universe thing for me to see what would have happened if that would have worked out the way it was.
Yeah.
I don't know. Talen's that's an interesting one. Can we just scratch this itch for our friend Dave?
For Dave's sake.
Just talk about Colorado. Go ahead.
I didn't watch the game.
Time? Oh.
Yeah.
You didn't watch the Kansas game?
I saw parts of it.
Okay.
Yeah, some highlights.
Just like, but how good does it feel to be a Colorado fan? Come on, like you gotta feel.
It's been awesome. It's been really awesome. I graduated in 2004. I moved here in 2005. Since then, they've had one season even close to this, and that was 2016. It's been almost 20 years.
Yeah.
So it's been awesome. And people always ask about like Deion Sanders and things like that.
Yeah.
Do I love everything he's done? No, I don't. But I do think him or someone like him is what they needed.
Yeah. Well, they got the home run hire from the outside.
Yeah.
I mean, there's nobody that was bigger personality than Deion Sanders. Maybe Nick Saban.
Sure. And I wish they win those commercials together. Maybe we could get one of the two.
There you go. And you got one.
But just getting the excitement back to the university because they
had a fever pitch.
Been
level.
So bad for so long, and what they needed was, I've always maintained this, and I will till the day I die. It should be easy to recruit to Boulder, Colorado.
Really?
It should be easy. But when your team's horrible doesn't help.
Yeah.
So they're actually kind of seeing that right now, and it's been a lot of fun just by them. They're improving, and I know a lot of people can hate on them, but 2 years ago, I went to Minneapolis, Minnesota, my hometown. Colorado's playing at the U of M. This is like a dream for me. It was the worst game I have ever seen. It was.
Was Mike at the helm?
Yes, he was. Well, he wasn't at the helm. I yelled at Carl Durrell, and when they were walking off the field, I couldn't take it. It was the most depressing.
Would it have gotten you canceled off of Twitter if you?
Probably.
Why were they so bad? Like, why were they so bad for just so long? I mean, decades. I mean, Dan Hogg, everybody that went there just
couldn't recruit. That was one of them. But anybody they hired was not a very good recruiter. The best recruiter they had was Mel Tucker, who left after a year. He went to Michigan State, and then
stuff happened to Mel.
So karma worked.
See you,
Mel.
Yeah, midnight Mel, because he left at midnight.
That's what happened. He left at midnight.
Yeah. But that was a big reason, and also the university just there. It's kind of like Berkeley in a way. It's very focused on academics, and not always the hugest sports, but when they've been good, it's been awesome. And so I think they needed some sort of investment from the university side, and they needed someone to just bring that excitement so they could do everything at the same time, sell the school, sell the program, and all that stuff. So him coming in there was huge. And, a lot of people hated, and I get why, just saying, okay, I'm bringing Louis, I've got, a lot of these guys had to take a hike.
Yeah.
But also when you saw how horrible that team was, it had to happen. And maybe there was a more tactful way to do it. But also at the same time, look at Indiana. Everyone loves them. Guess what? They had like the same amount of transfers.
Did they?
Oh yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Very similar. But Kurt Signetti,
Yeah.
But it's kind of funny to me because there was a lot of hate on it. And the worst thing that happened to them last year was starting 3-0.
Yeah.
And everyone's like, oh.
They beat TCU.
They beat Nebraska. They had that Colorado State game. And it was like, oh, God. And everyone's coming to me like, oh, they're back. And I was like, no, this isn't going to be a 1-year thing. And so it's been really cool this year. Like their defense is a hell of a lot better, except for yesterday.
Yeah.
Their defensive coordinator was a great hire. And they've been, they addressed the offensive line. That's been better. Shedeur Sanders is fun. Trav's fun. They can't run worth a lick, but no, it's been awesome because they're winning, and it's really feels foreign. Like I'll text my friends from school and be like, "This is weird. This is weird." Because it used to be they either ignored CU or they felt bad for CU. Now people like hate CU, and I'm like, fine. Like it's much better than people being like, caring. "Oh, how are you guys this year?" Everyone knows how you're doing this year.
Still in the Pac-12.
So, yeah, exactly right. So
that's like seeing a cousin at a holiday dinner and be like, you still live in your grandma's basement? Or like, how's that going for you? Like, any job prospects?
At the gas station?
And everybody's been talking about him. But you're like, he's not working anywhere, dude.
Yeah.
He's like got no future.
Yeah. Or he was, you last saw him like 2, 3, 4 years ago. And he's like, no, I got that engineering degree and I'm living,
That was 2 wives ago.
Exactly.
So, now this year, that cousin shows up with a smoking hot girlfriend.
I know, exactly. Right.
A nice car. So give us your best argument, okay? Because you have an unbiased opinion on 2 people that are...
I'm horribly biased towards both. That's the problem. No.
Yeah. So give us your best argument for Heisman. Like Jeanty and Travis Hunter. Your thoughts. Because this is my whole suspended Twitter account is filled with, I would say 30% is Travis Hunter, Ashton, Jeanty.
Comparisons? Yes.
Back and forth.
Yes.
The whole thing. Because they know I
It's very funny because I know it really. There was one time, maybe about a month ago, where he said something about Jeanty, and people got upset. But to be fair, he was asked directly about it.
He was, that was on Robert Griffin. That show.
So it wasn't like he just brought up Jeanty's name for whatever reason. People have asked me this question. I'm glad you brought it up. My friend Kitch in Australia asked me just before the show.
Shout out to Kitch.
Who would I vote for? I would vote for Ashton Jeanty. I would vote for him. I really would. This isn't pandering.
Dave knows he's in a safe space here. We wouldn't, do anything if he said.
Dave goes to a Colorado podcast. Travis Hunter all the way, baby.
12, baby. But
would you? You would.
I really would. I really would. And I have watched every game of both guys.
Yeah.
Do I think that Travis Hunter is the most talented player in college football? I do.
Okay.
Do I think Ashton Jeanty should win the Heisman? I do.
Okay, why?
He's the best at his position.
Yeah.
What Jeanty's doing, there are some people who are like, we've seen this before, right? You have. Once. By the greatest, maybe single season, by I don't care what position.
Yeah.
Ever.
That's true, yeah.
In Barry Sanders.
Yeah.
What's funny though, if you look at Barry Sanders' stats, they don't include his bowl game. Dude ran for like 205 touchdowns in his bowl game.
Wild.
So even add that onto
It's
it. But
just
anyway,
incredible.
but
it's incredible what he did.
yeah. But also, you could say the same thing for Hunter, but I think with Jeanty is because he is such a focal point of the offense and the opposing defenses, him still able to do what he does is truly incredible. It really is, especially in this day and age in the sport. And he is so far heads and shoulders above any other player at his position that tips it for me. Like if there was a quarterback putting up numbers comparable to this, better, sure.
Yeah.
But there's no quarterback doing that.
Nope.
Cam Ward's having a great year, but he's not that much better than the guys right behind him. Then even Shedeur Sanders is like he's better. I think Cam Ward's better, but not that much better.
Yeah.
But also I think the argument for Hunter, the thing that I always take back is, I know one of the comparisons are people like, he's only the 8th best receiver and the 5th best corner.
Only?
Are you kidding me? He's in the top 1% at 2 positions. He's not number 1, but elite at 2 positions. That's insane. And that's why, like, when people say we haven't seen that, I would agree with that. Like, sure, Charles Woodson was far and away an elite corner, right? He was that much better than any other corner. He played a little bit of offense. People are like, okay, that's cool.
Yeah.
Hunter is way at the top at 2 positions, which is why I would put him second. And that's why I think he's the most talented guy. He'll probably be the number 1 pick.
What do you think?
Yeah, I think so. And for good reason. Because if you're a team, you can put him either spot. I think he can play either in the NFL. And if you want to, put him in sub packages and let him play both sides. That's a very unique thing, especially in this day and age.
Because you basically get 2 positions for 1, right?
Totally. He can be your dime corner and he can be your starting wide receiver or whatever. And so that's really what I think is so unique about him. And he's really turned around the fortunes of that team. And when you actually watch him, you're like, oh my God, like he's such a good athlete. But like we said with Jeanty though, he is such a focal point of what they do for a team also that is now number 11 in the country.
Yeah.
Like, it's kind of weird. I don't think Trav hurt his prospects yesterday for the Heisman. It didn't help.
Did he have a good game? I know he got a touchdown.
He had more than 100 yards receiving and came like that close to a pick where he was diving, didn't get it. But he had a really good game. Yeah. Not an insane game, just like Jeanty. He had a really good game, not a crazy game. But for Jeanty being a part of a team that also is that high, because they used to always be like, oh, it's just an award for the best player on the best team. Yeah. That's not that case this year. But also, should you not get a little bit of credit for that? Yeah. And I think they should. Because I really think right where CU is, you watch them, they feel like to me like a good 20 to 25 team. Mm. But like with Boise State, they're 11 and possibly just going to continue to walk up a little bit more. And for him to be that week in, week out, regardless of his arm injury, seems to be able to do that is so impressive. And that's why I'd lean to him.
Yeah. Who do you think will win?
I think Trav's going to win.
Yeah.
And
I think the PR machine, you just can't beat
that.
The
worst thing in the world is the end of last month, my wife and I went on vacation to New Mexico.
That is the worst thing.
You can bet on sports legally in New Mexico.
Okay.
You went on vacation in New Mexico? What part of New Mexico?
Albuquerque. Went to Santa Fe.
Okay.
Went hiking.
Never been there.
Food's the best.
Yeah. Really?
Best place to eat in the world, in my opinion.
Shout out to Santa Fe, New Mexico.
Santa Fe and Albuquerque are the best places.
There's an airport in Albuquerque.
What's nice about it,
I've never been there.
It's not too much. It's bigger than ours, but not by too much. and it's right in town. I really like it over there. Okay. I don't know if I'd live there, but whatever. Yeah. You can bet on sports. So we're putting down bets for the UNLV game. We bet on Boise State to cover.
Say we, you and your wife.
Me and my wife. Yeah. She was.
All right.
She was.
Shout out to Dave's wife.
Yeah. She was like, okay, Boise State and CU. They both covered that weekend, so that was awesome. But we were about to leave, and she's like, "What are Jeanty's odds for the Heisman?" He was like plus 250 or something like that.
Yeah, that was when he was at his top. I
yes.
think. Yeah.
And I said, we had like $50. I was like, let's put it on him. We leave, driving, and I was like, I didn't put anything on Hunter. And she goes, yeah, why didn't you? And I'm like, oh. I was like, he had missed the second half of the last 2 games before that. And I was like, some quarterback's going to get it. It's fine.
Yeah.
She's like, you just didn't want to jinx it. I'm like, maybe that's it. He was 18-1 at that point. I didn't put anything on him. Now he's probably. So that's the only thing.
Or something,
that's the only thing where
5-1?
I'm just like mad at myself about it. But
can I just give you, and everybody's heard this, if you were to take Jeanty out of our lineup and you were to go through game by game, let me just, you guys can tell me what you guys think if we win this game or not. So you take Jeanty. We don't have Jeanty. Same team. Georgia Southern.
No.
I think
Our
we
Gaines
lose.
had a great game, but probably not.
Yeah. Because he had how many 7-yard runs? 2?
Yeah.
Jeanty did? Okay.
Yeah,
Oregon.
so.
We lost. Anyway, doesn't matter.
So
You wouldn't have lost by 3.
Yeah.
Wouldn't have lost by 3. No, you're right. Portland State, we win. Okay.
Washington State.
Washington State,
No.
we lose that game.
No.
Because he had some amazing runs on that.
That was, I don't know. I mean, the Oregon game was great. I thought Washington State
Yeah.
was his best game.
I agree too.
Yeah.
So that's 3 losses, right? Utah State, we could win that game. UNLV, they're a good team.
He had a decent game, but that was a prime example of Madsen stepping up.
Okay.
That he'll hang his hat on that one.
Yeah, but it changes the dynamic of what they, now they're playing the pass, right? Now
right.
So anyway, I would say we lose. I don't think he's getting a lot of first downs. He grinded it out, Ashton did. Like that was a tough game for him. Okay. San Diego State, we seem to win a bunch there. Nevada, maybe. San Jose State, I don't know that we win that. I don't know.
Yeah.
And then Wyoming.
Yeah.
I don't know that we win that. I mean, we're potentially
There are way more
team.
toss-ups than you would think.
Yeah.
Way more toss-ups. Yeah. So that alone to me, and I get we're in the Mountain West, and I wish so badly we were in the Big 12, and I wish we could compare against all these other players that are going for the Heisman against the same level of competition, because I think Ashton would still be really good. But, man, you take him off our team, we're nowhere near a top 60 team, top 70 team. And I just think it's a big deal. If nobody's going to think about it that way, it's a popularity contest. And did Deion win the Heisman?
No.
Okay. Well, anyway, I'm sure he knows every single Heisman voter in America. And so I don't think he would win it. I wish he would. I love the guy. I think he's easily top 3 player of BSU history, in my opinion. I hope he does. But it's just been a special thing to watch. But you take him out of this team, and we're just not even close.
And the narrative does not apply to this, but what's really interesting to me is Ashton Jeanty staying at Boise State in this day and age.
Yeah. Wild.
Them during the offseason being like Heisman, and I was like, oh God, are you
like
guys serious? Like, he's going to be amazing.
They
I'm
made
sure.
those video game things.
I know.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh boy, guys, it's a running back. Like, let's be real. He's, like I said, he's exceeded it. Yeah. Like I thought he probably could. You take them and play 14 games. He probably get close to 2,000.
Right.
We're sitting here after 11.
It's a good season.
Yeah.
It's a good season.
It's amazing. Yeah, awesome. Yeah. Like I think it was before yesterday, it was 27, 28, 29 guys that had done it before.
Yeah.
And he did it, and I was looking at his season stats. The guy he passed through 11 games is Rashawn Salam, who won the Heisman at CU 30 years ago. 2,055 yards, 24 touchdowns. Ashton's just ahead of those numbers through 11 games. And he's going to have more.
Yeah.
And so, like, that was a Heisman season. Again, in 94, things a little different. But just seeing those numbers and just kind of putting that into perspective is really amazing. And, they'll have at least 3 more games, depending on, if they make it to the playoff, he'll probably play that 14th game at least. Yeah. And to see what he can do is pretty special. And again, like we mentioned, I mean, running backs have won the award, but to be in this conversation and not be a quarterback, not be a wide receiver even.
Yeah.
Teams like to throw it now.
Right.
And him being able to do this just time after time, getting the ball 30 times a game is
hopefully
pretty
all the running back Heisman guys start chiming in and say, we want to have it.
Yeah.
But a stat here. So Jeanty, first Bronco in program history to surpass 2,000 rushing yards in a season.
First.
Yeah.
So that was what postseason that they would do 2,000 yards, like Ajayi and stuff.
Ajayi was 1,800
in the regular season. Are we talking regular season or full season?
Total.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Jeanty beat Ajayi with like 100 fewer carries.
Really?
Yeah.
100 fewer carries?
Mm-hmm.
100 fewer carries.
Yeah. The first FBS player to. So
how do you get 100 fewer carries?
But don't you remember the games where Jay would get 40 carries?
That's a lot.
It's somewhere close, right?
40 carries? That's a ton.
I remember covering those games. He would get 40 carries.
I think that it was all time. So like not just in the season.
Career
rushing.
Okay.
yards.
Career rushing.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Is what it was. So Jeanty's the first FBS player to surpass 2,000 rushing yards in the FBS since 2019 when 4 players did it.
He's doing great.
Yeah.
Can we talk playoffs?
Playoffs?
That was he was Indianapolis Colts, right?
Jim Mora Sr.
Yeah.
But first, the Mountain West Championship game.
Okay,
We're going to host it.
Yeah. Let's talk about that.
Friday, December 6th, I believe.
Is that what it is? I actually just got that email that tickets are available, and I clicked on it, and I couldn't sign into
Twitter.
Ticketmaster. Everybody knows and suspended me.
Friday,
I couldn't check
December
that out.
6th at 6 p.m.
That's pretty sweet.
Yeah.
I like that it's at home. Do you guys care who we play? Would you rather?
I don't want to do UNLV again. I don't want to play them again.
It's tough to beat a team 3 times in a year, right?
3 times.
Well, last year the Mountain West Championship game. This year
like in a calendar
and then
year.
Home, in a calendar year.
Isn't it? What would be an easier game for Boise State?
So
is Colorado State.
Yeah, that's my point is, would you rather play a game that you could easily win? I'm just assuming we could easily win, which Wyoming, we could not easily win. Let's say, would you rather have a team that's not as good and like comfortably win and potentially look good and like pull away and not have a huge issue and not have to grind it out?
Get some guys healed.
Yeah, and then
let Ashton get some lot of yards.
Or
untouched.
Yeah, I would love that. Yards. Or would you rather play a team that's a grind out thing where you have to have Ashton play the entire 4 quarters and have it be really difficult, but it's a ranked team?
Right. I think. Oh God, you probably honestly probably the latter. I think you probably want the latter.
Ranked team.
Yeah. Especially if you're going to be going into a playoff game, you want something maybe as close as you can get to that.
Yeah, that's a good point.
And with he could still bolster his profile a little bit, but I do wonder. He hurt that left arm obviously against UNLV. Not his best game. It's not a good game, but maybe there's something there where he's like, I'm gonna really
show it up
for this one.
Yeah.
We don't know, so
I just don't know how much our ranking can improve playing anybody.
Not
anybody available now. No.
And so I just think if there's not a huge benefit ranking wise, I'd almost rather play Fresno or like the Little Sisters of the Poor or whoever. What do you think, Matt?
For me, it's like play. If you're a competitor, I think you want to play the best, right? And you can't control who that's going to be, but if you do have a say, I think for me, just that UNLV game scares me a little bit.
Oh, dude.
So
yeah, I mean, especially
that would be the only thing. Would I avoid playing them? No. I think if they're the best, let's play
at home.
Right, it makes sense.
But the secret's out on how to beat us. I mean, the secret's out.
Yeah,
I just laid it out,
dude. I think the secret's been out since week 2.
Secret's out. But maybe we could get a few
special teams.
Yeah, you got a couple away. There's a couple secrets out there. But it sounds like we could get Mason back, the center.
Yeah, I do remember Spencer saying something about
they're working.
him trying to get back. I think they even said potentially for a Mountain West championship.
Really?
Right? Wasn't that it? I think that's what it was.
First and last game. But at the same time, are we going to get Tubner back? Are we going to get Simpson back? Are we going to get any of these other guys back that we haven't heard anything about?
It's a great question. I don't know.
Don't know.
That was always
they're going to tell you.
That was always like, the most fun part of my job.
Yeah.
Is trying to break through the coaches to be like, is this guy really going to play or not? And just, the coach speak. And Harsin was always like, it wouldn't be fair to their families. And I was always like,
yeah,
that's
why.
But
they're not dead.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like we have to inform next of kin.
As up there on the podium going, oh God, tell mom,
tell mom. What are they going to say? I got to do that.
And but that's always the biggest conundrum is trying to figure that stuff out. I wouldn't venture to guess, but Simpson would be great. Would be huge. Yeah. I mean, he had that big play against UNLV. He got that turnover and.
So, Dave, you're a former member of the media, Boise State media. Is there a question you'd be like if you were to go to the press conference on Monday? Would you ask, and who would you ask?
Have you
thought about
that? No, honestly, that's a great question because
Did you know I asked a question, by the way?
Did you?
Brandon hasn't.
I haven't.
No, did you?
I did. It was Eric Chenander. So he was a third guy, people are kind of tired by that point.
Yeah.
I don't know if anybody listened to me, and this is like 4 or 5 weeks ago. I don't know.
Sweet. That's awesome.
It's all right.
But what would you ask?
No,
anything.
That's an awesome question. I would be hard pressed to think of one off the top of my head. I mean, honestly, there's some that you'd want to ask, but you're not going to get the answer.
There's always those questions.
Because I really would. The interesting thing to me, and we did hit on it, would be to, and maybe even the worst person to ask is Dirk Cutter. To be like, why haven't you thrown deep more?
Yeah.
But I do wonder, truthfully, why that has not been a big part of the playbook.
So you're just saying, if you're sitting next to him on a plane and you're like, why isn't that happening?
Yeah.
Off the record, everything. Like, why can't we throw it deep?
We'd probably be on a boat in McCall, but yes.
Golf course.
But off the top of my head, that would be it. But also too is, I just wonder too, how much I wonder behind the scenes how much they're trying to really embrace what's going on right now. They always are thinking about what's next. Yeah. But what's next, And to me, that was always a thing in sports. I liked that a little bit, but not always. Sometimes I'm like, that game we just saw was awesome.
Yeah.
They're like, oh, what's next? Who are they playing next? What does it mean? What does it mean? What does it mean?
Yeah.
I wondered, just as more of a broad question and something maybe that they could answer and would be willing to, is, are they sitting back and saying, we have a guy who at worst is going to be a Heisman finalist. He's going to get more votes than Kellen did. So he's going to for sure be the highest guy they've ever had here. You're making a playoff run during the first year of its existence, something that you have been hoping for, something that before this season, everyone was pegging you like, hey, you got to be all in on this thing. And so far, they've been able to do it. What is that like? What is it like to be in the midst of it? Obviously you can relate a little bit to the guys in 2011, 2010, 2009, of course, but just how much at this program they actually are really maybe kind of appreciating the moment.
I don't know.
It's something like that. I just do wonder how they approach it, or if they're trying to be like Pete would always try to have them put the blinders on, and maybe eventually it settles in. But there's never been anything like this here. Even as good as the past teams were, just this confluence of what's happening right now, there's never been anything like that here.
Especially because we could get a bye in a playoff.
You could. When I saw that bracket on Tuesday night.
Can you look at that bracket, by the way? Because I kind of want to talk about it. Anyway,
Tuesday night was when I went and saw Max Sabbath, but we were.
Where were they? Where did they
play? At the Shrine.
Where's that?
The Shrine. It's on. It's right downtown, right by, kind of like kitty corner from the Record Exchange.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I know a little bit about Max Sabbath. They dress up, right?
Yeah, they dress up basically like the
McDonald's characters.
like Hamburglar, Mayor McCheese, Ronald McDonald, Grimace, and it's Sabbath covers, but they changed the lyrics.
That's why it's Mac.
Yeah,
like McDonald's.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then they joke that there's other bands called like Dockin' Donuts and Burger King Crimson and things like that.
Dockin',
and they're really good musicians. So it sounds like Children of the Grave. It sounds like Paranoid, and they changed the lyrics to be kind of about fast food, but it's also actually not. It's kind of like about like why it's bad for you and things like that. It's silly, but it's fun as hell. So anyway.
Wow.
But we were sitting there watching before on the show. I saw that bracket come up, and I was like, oh my God.
Wow.
Look at that.
It's incredible.
And talking to one of the guys I went to the show with, he's from Ohio, and he's like, could you imagine Ohio State fans coming here? Like,
yeah.
Yeah.
I know. Wouldn't that be incredible?
They're like, your stadium holds how many?
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
37, 38?
But yeah, just for whatever, wherever they end up seated and stuff like that. Just that being possible is so wild.
Do you think that coaches, let me know when you have that up, Matt, but do you think that coaches, they just prefer to, after the season, during a break, where they just smoke some cigars and say, that was pretty cool?
Yes.
Like, do you think that's what they want?
Do.
Yeah.
And that's always the thing, right? That's always the thing about like, and why like when I've gotten in touch with guys before doing sort of retrospectives and things like that, they get excited to talk about it because I think at the time they're a little hesitant to talk about it.
Don't jinx
it. But now,
it.
Right. But now, like now that it's in the past and stuff like that, when I've, like I remember one time quickly, I was doing a thing at The Athletic. There's a website where it's called like What If Sports, where you just put in like mock matchups of teams, and it would come up. It would run all these computations and be like, here's who would win. And so I called Winston Venable about it because he played on 2009, it was 10 and 11 teams, I think.
The loss at Nevada, lost with TCU.
Yes.
Okay.
I think it was one, and I was
think it was 10 11.
or maybe it was 9 and 10. I think it was 9 and 10. He played on both, and I called him and I was like, which team was better? You know, just. He said it was that 2010 team.
With Doug Martin, with Shea McClellan, because I remember the second year they didn't have a few of those guys like
Correct.
Shea and
Correct, because it was that 2011 team. It was, the 2010 was the
loss at Nevada.
loss at Nevada. Yes,
So painful.
Yes. Yeah,
Thanksgiving week. It always comes back to that, right?
it always does, right? But you know, just he was so he was like, this team was better, and all that stuff. But of course, if you asked them then, they'd be like, well, what was a team like, you know, compared to these other teams that they've had Boise State, they would have told you.
Okay, so is this up? Will people be able to see that, or should I throw it on there? Okay, I'll throw it up there. Okay, so as the bracket stands right now, it comes out next on Tuesday, I believe, right? So the quarterfinal teams are as follows. This is prior to all the games that happened yesterday, right? So the 4 seed is Boise State. The 1 seed is Oregon. The 3 seed is Miami. The 2 seed is Texas, right? So we can talk about those teams. And then this is where a bunch of shakeups happening, right? BYU, Ohio State, the 12-5. Alabama, Notre Dame, the 9-8. There's some, fallout there.
Change, yeah.
Georgia, Penn State, the 11-6. And then Ole Miss, Indiana. Some change up there.
Yeah.
So do you mind can we just talk about a few of those, that setup? What do we think is going to change with that bracket come Tuesday, in your opinion? Does the first 4 teams...
It might.
Did Texas lose?
No,
they won by a big, I think. Yeah, okay. And they beat...
Texas played Kentucky.
Yeah. Okay.
That was
your boy Bush Hamden.
That was the furthest west Kentucky has ever played. Did you know that?
Are you serious?
Yes.
They've never come to the West Coast at all?
No.
Kentucky. It's not like they're on the East Coast.
Yeah.
Are they Central Time Zone?
They're Eastern Time Zone. Maybe.
Are they Eastern Time Zone?
I covered that BSU game down there. I forget.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, welcome west, I guess, of the Mississippi.
Anyway,
So Texas stays, Miami stays?
Miami would, yes.
Okay. Oregon State, and then Boise State stays, Oregon, right?
Boise State should, but Arizona State keeps moving up.
What's their
defying
ranking?
What I possibly thought they could do.
Right.
I think they were 21.
They're 21.
Okay. Correct. So, they have quite a ways to climb, right?
They do.
Okay. Well, I'm just saying, I guess, for this week. Okay, now let's go to the first round. The first round of so BYU, Ohio State. Ohio State stays.
Yep.
So I just wonder who would be that 12 seed. Arizona State? Who do we think?
Yeah, because based on this bracket from last week, that would be the case, yes.
Arizona State, potentially.
Yep.
And this is the Big 12 winner or the Big 12 or just winner. A Big 12? Because Iowa State was in there, right? Or no, Iowa State was not in there. So
it could be Iowa State or Arizona State, but it'd probably be Arizona State.
The Big 12. Let's just say they keep beating up on each other.
Would Colorado have gotten in there if they would have won?
Yeah, why not? Yeah.
Yes, I think they would have.
Yeah, I think they would have.
Do they still have a shot now? I don't know.
There's some weird permutation. I don't think it's going to happen.
Okay.
I don't think it's going to happen.
So then Ohio State stays, and then potentially the Big 12 team.
Yeah.
Gets that 12
That's
seed.
the wild card, right? Or kind of the, we don't know yet.
All right. And then who's next on that list?
Alabama is in there.
Alabama lost.
They lost
bad.
to Oklahoma.
To Oklahoma.
I'm going to, I can't log into Twitter. Did you guys see when Milroe, that's his name, right? The quarterback? Jalen Milroe. He threw that pick 6 and he went for the tackle. Can you guys look that up? I was going to look it up and show you. Have you seen that? I want you guys to rate this tackle. And it was on Twitter. And it was pretty funny, and I'll plug it in for the viewers to watch.
I'm watching it right now.
Okay, rate this tackle. He throws the pick. He's the only guy that can make.
He was trying to get a red card for that one.
Have you seen it, Matt?
Tackle?
Yeah.
Have you seen it?
Yeah, he just kicks the leg out.
Yeah, he just slides right under him. Right under him. I'll put that in, but it is hilarious. Yeah. Okay, so Alabama.
Yeah, that would have been a red card for sure.
Yeah.
And it could be that the Big 12 team slides down to the 11 seed, and I don't know how many SEC teams they can get in, But man, Alabama, they lost bad to Oklahoma.
Yeah.
And a bunch of people were saying on the site I formerly had access to that was the first like field storm of the fans at Oklahoma like ever, like in remembrance.
Oh, really?
Just because they can't remember.
they're always the team that's way up there.
Never the underdog, right?
Yeah.
So that's kind of interesting.
Good for that. I'm glad something good happened to Oklahoma.
Yeah, they've had a tough time. Their inaugural season in the SEC.
Should we talk basketball a teeny bit and then get to 5
well,
questions?
Hold on. Do you mind? Do you have to go?
I mean,
you got to go.
So eventually.
All right.
At some point.
I'm just curious on the whole bracket of the playoff.
Because a lot of people are saying Indiana probably will still stay in, even
you
despite
think? Really.
That's what I've been hearing.
3 Big Ten teams.
Your mileage would vary on. Yeah, I mean, like, because coming into this week, they were like 1, 2, 4, and 5, right? Like,
they got
Penn State would be in there, and
Danny Cannell was like, Indiana did about as good at Ohio State as anybody. He's like, if it weren't for like one special teams thing, they'd have been right in it. I was like, I saw a different highlight.
There were
the
two special teams things. First of all,
really,
they dropped the
punter,
punt,
dropped the snap,
and then they had that one run back on them.
Yeah.
And their quarterback until the very end of the game was like 6 for 16 for like 30 yards. Like,
that's not good.
So I just wonder
they got whipped. I mean,
wonder
like,
how bad
they had a great start, and that was it.
I wonder how bad they get punished for that loss. Then.
Yeah, it won't, like, they will get punished, but they might still stick in it. Like what I've been seeing,
go to the
seeing a lot of people projecting it, think they'll still be in it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And then I wonder if Ole Miss. I wonder how many teams will the SEC get?
Ole Miss is out, right?
You got to take Ole Miss out. The teams they've lost to, I heard they're like a combined 500.
Oof. Well, then, so the SEC doesn't have anybody, or the Texas. It's so weird to think of them in the SEC. So Texas, and then how many teams? Georgia. And then I guess they're going to have a 3-loss SEC team they'll probably get in. You know what's going to happen if we have a first-round bye? We can talk basketball after this. They're going to punish us so bad, the group of 5. They're going to make sure the powers that be, whoever that is.
Whoever gets that 5th seed.
They're just going to say, if we get a first-round bye, they're like, okay, we're done. We're splitting away.
Oh.
We're going to take the whole thing away from them. Screw them. I'm tired of this. We're tired of giving them little handouts. We're out. Deal with it on your own.
We obviously messed up when we drafted this whole scenario thing.
Yeah. We didn't foresee that this would happen.
Yeah, we did.
And so
it came back to bite us.
They're going to make us. Leaving. They're going to punish us.
We're just going to give you a little sip, but they took the whole thing.
Yeah, exactly. Give us an inch, take a mile. You know, that's how they're going to be. All right. Sorry. Anything else on the playoffs that you guys want to talk about? Because I think it's fascinating to talk about.
Anyway. Brandon, the next game is the biggest game.
Right, yeah,
but like I said, the Big 12 is fascinating because I saw someone, I think it was Stu Mandel, my old coworker, that they created like not the most like mid-conference, but just what they did was they created a conference chock full of teams that you would call like a 7 out of 10.
Yeah. Okay.
So like a lot of good teams. No very good teams, no great teams.
Yeah.
A lot of good teams, you know? I mean, Kansas, who beat Colorado, they were 4-6. All of their losses were by like 3, 4, 5 points. Then they go and they beat Iowa State, BYU, CU in a row.
Knocking them down.
But their record's 5-6.
Yeah.
And you have a Colorado, you have a BYU, you have an Arizona State, you got Iowa State, you got K-State. They're all good, but they're not anybody where you know. And so like, that it's just really interesting. The whole conference is a mess because everybody's okay.
Well, you take out your best perennial teams, right? Oklahoma and Texas,
for sure.
And what are you left, right?
Right.
Do you think BSU will ever get in the Big 12? Probably not, right?
Probably not, but
20 teams or something, 17.
The thing I've always said, and I've said this since 2008, if it was based on merit, they would already.
Yeah.
With this, we wouldn't even be talking about this. It's just everything else. It's your fault that you became a junior college in 1932 and didn't become a D1 program until 96. And that's why. That's the point. It's like, it's your fault.
Yeah.
But it's like, you have no control over that.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry. Fielding Yost wasn't your coach in 1910 at Michigan, and Vanderbilt was part of the SEC in the 30s and Minnesota. I mean, I'm biased, but Minnesota was great around World War II.
Okay.
And it's just like, and that's when it was established, and that's where everybody's been.
My thing is, I just think if you're in the Big 12, don't you want teams that elevate you into the playoff, right? And BSU is a program that can either compete for the playoff or make you better or like give you an extra ranked team here or there.
Every single level Boise State's ever played at,
they've excelled.
They've excelled.
Yeah.
They've been excellent. That's the thing I always is the most impressive things to me since I moved here and followed this team, every level. And that's why I love even nerding out on their teams back in the early 70s. Every level they were at, they have been very good to excellent.
Yeah.
They were throwing the ball before people did it. They were running the ball better than anybody at times. It's just, that's what I think is great about Boise State.
Yeah.
I really do. That's what makes them so unique in the landscape, because they've been that
I need
good
to switch
at
my
every
perspective, because when I look back to the past, all I think about is losing to Idaho 12 years in a row. When I was in elementary school.
And like after I came
That's
here,
depressing.
and I was like, they're so much better. And people are like, no, you gotta understand, man. This it was bad.
Yeah.
Do you want to talk basketball or do 5 questions with Dave here? Which one do you want to go at?
I mean, I don't have much to say about basketball. I didn't watch the game.
Okay,
All I know is the final score.
We beat Hampton.
We beat Hampton, which, if you remember, Hampton came to Boise.
Yeah.
Sure did.
NCAA tournament.
Beat Iowa.
They had the
Iowa
band.
State.
Iowa State.
Yeah, it was a 2-15 upset. They
Dad's
beat
alma
Iowa
mater.
State. But their band
Your
was
dad's
amazing.
alma mater?
Yeah,
Iowa State?
he went Iowa State. Yeah.
Okay.
Did you go? I was at that game.
I was not. That was in high school for me.
I was at the game. Hampton's band was amazing.
Okay.
The second round, the
Didn't
game
they
was
lose?
going
They
on.
lost it.
They lost the second round, but the game's going on before their game. The band walks in. People start cheering for their band.
Yes.
During the game, they're going nuts
Yeah.
for their
Yeah.
band. So that's my history about Hampton.
If you ever Google it, Bill Plaschke, who everyone knows, Bill
Yeah.
Plaschke, wrote an excellent column from that game. He was up here covering the tournament.
he? Okay.
And he followed them to the hotel. I forget what hotel they were staying at, maybe the Grove downtown. And
maybe
did
the
a whole,
Sunliner in Garden City.
Oh, come on.
the Cabana Inn.
Yeah.
But he like was hanging out with like the band and like was writing from like the school's perspective, like all these people that are like right next to the team, but not necessarily on the team. It was a great story. So anyway, if you just Google it, it should be out there.
I remember reading articles. I thought it was from the States, but maybe it was Bill Plaschke that was like, this is amazing. This is like a whole movement. Like this Hampton thing is pretty cool.
Yeah.
So that's kind of cool.
What do you have to say about the game? Yeah.
But I've been really impressed with Boise State, like with basketball. That was a lot of what I covered. Just they got it. They got to get the monkey off their back. They got to win a tournament game, right?
Yeah, of
Don't you
course.
think that's why they went to the Cayman one? Is that why?
It doesn't hurt.
Because it's like teams that they should beat.
Like
there's nobody there that really they should
Who do they have?
beat them.
Hampton. Who else is there?
Who was it? I was watching BNN on this. Shout out to BNN on that. Well, I don't have to get on Twitter to find this out. Cayman Islands Classic. Are you ready? You can keep talking.
But it's just been, there's been times where they've lost due to graduation and whatnot. Some really good players where I kind of have been like, they might take a step back. And I've been really impressed so far this year. You know, beating Clemson like they did, and being able to get off to a really good start early on with mixing in some new pieces. Really like that new point guard, and they've got some young players that are playing, Buchanan, guys like that I didn't
Julian
necessarily
Bowie.
that I didn't necessarily think we're going to play much right away, and being able to do that is going to be really helpful, I think. So that's been intriguing to me.
Did you watch the Clemson game?
Yeah,
that game was wild to me because we couldn't stop their best scorer in the first half. And then the second half comes out, and Cardenas, who was having a bad game offensively, I thought, they put Cardenas on their best scorer. And then Julian Bowie, who's a true freshman from Pocatello.
Right.
Comes in and guards their point guard and has, I think, 4 points in the second half, which is really key points, and guarded him really well.
Right.
And I was like, wow, we haven't had that before.
Right.
You know?
You nailed it. Like when I mentioned Buchanan, I was thinking of him too.
Yeah.
But they just being able to have mix in those young guys early, especially, you know, he wasn't highly touted.
I
You know
don't
what I mean?
Yeah.
He was a good player in Idaho.
Totally.
Yeah.
Right. And you know, they've had that before. They've had Malik Harwell, and you know, they've had guys who are going to take time or maybe weren't going to pan out, and to put them in that sort of a situation early on potentially really
I love that.
for later.
One thing I like about this season, not that I don't like Max Rice, because Max Rice is a great player, but I think what comes with having Max Rice on the team is not there now. And I think that's a little bit of a distraction.
And Cade, they got Cade out too, so both sons are off.
So I think that's a net positive.
Max, I agree with that. So Max last year, the first half of the season, he struggled quite a bit. And then he had games, just amazing games. But, I think Meadow is an overall improvement.
Yeah.
I think defensively and offensively consistent
and
output.
Improved, I think.
Yeah, he has improved.
From last season, for sure.
And then I also think last year was tough when you took Omar out, whether if he was in foul trouble or if they were just doubling him. He was the rebound. He was a menace on rebounding. And this year it seems like we have Ugbo and RJ Keene that it just seems to
Dylan
be making
Anderson,
play.
right? I mean, he's
Dylan Anderson, exactly. Yeah. So I mean, potentially, but I think for like hard rebounds, difficulty wise, I think Ugbo's been great. At Clemson, he did great at that aspect. And then RJ Keene just seems to be kind of that, facilitator outside of the point guard position. So it's interesting. I'm really curious to see the lineup he goes to during conference play, because he, like Leon, really kind of contracts his lineup quite a bit.
That's a great point. But having those guys step up early will only benefit them, because then as they get close, like you said, they really do, because like depth can be, especially later in the year, sometimes an overrated thing. But if you have a lot of guys, that's great. They're not going to play all the time, but that's a good problem for them to have, because they can really find out the good lineups.
If you're Jace, remember Jace Whiting
Jace
last
Whiting,
year?
Yeah.
Man, you got to be a little upset that they're playing Julian Bowie, and he struggled to get any playing time at all, just consistent playing time at all. There was a stretch where he got 2 to 4 minutes in a game.
I think, Jace offered ball handling skills. Defensively, I don't know. I think he hustled, but I think Julian offers that offensive side of things that Jace didn't
Jace,
offer.
I heard in high school was really good offensively, which is interesting.
Yeah.
You were always upset at the shoe to sock combination.
Yeah, he'd wear the white sock with the black shoe.
And you were always upset about that.
And I just thought it gave the old man vibe.
Like if he was wearing New Balance
because
something?
they were like all black shoes, like referee shoes almost. Is what it looked like to
Not
me.
Chuck Taylor's, but
the teams,
Not Chuck Taylor's.
The teams that are playing in the Cayman Islands Classic, okay, we have Hampton, we have the South Dakota Jackrabbits,
South
Dakota State Jackrabbit, who we
Usually
lost to
really
a couple years ago. Boston College, I think this is Old Dominion University. I'm just seeing the
logos.
symbols.
Oh,
is that Drake?
That's Duquesne.
Duquesne.
And there's High Point, I think, is the HPU.
Okay.
Yep.
And then is this Montana?
That's SEMO, Southeast Missouri State.
Okay.
But not Duke, not North Carolina.
Not Duke, and we played some difficult. Yeah, we played some difficult teams. And anyway, they're favored to win. They're the favored team to go through. So hopefully, if they can win a championship, maybe they can get a little bit of that monkey off their back and just know what it feels like to.
Yeah.
And I think that Clemson win early on is a good resume win. It's a good thing to get them going.
Team that was in the Sweet 16 last year.
Yeah.
I thought they were Elite
Eight. You're right.
Yeah.
I mean, you're right. They were Elite Eight. Yeah.
And that's a great win.
They won in the Sweet 16 and then,
I'm super happy for the team. I'm really excited for it. And I think that they can have a great year. And if we go to a playoff and win a tournament game, easily the best.
Yeah, we're spoiled.
Yeah, the best
and that's really
year
nice.
of BSU athletics of all time.
It's just really nice to have, a good football season going, and then you're rolling right into basketball where they sold out season tickets.
Yeah.
There's hype, obviously losing San Francisco was not good, but starting out how we did, first game, and then Clemson and now Hampton, I mean, things are going.
They always have games like the San Francisco game.
Yeah.
There's one like that every year.
Yeah.
Dave, you know what that music means?
This is it.
You know what that means?
Is it 5 questions?
5 questions. It's time for 5 questions. Part 2, round 2 with Dave Southern.
Dave, we got to let you know, Brad Bedell went 5 for 5 on an off night for Matt.
It was an off night for me.
It was a San Francisco game off night.
I could have prepared more.
Fellow CU grad went 5 for 5.
Yeah, that's true.
That's true.
Yep.
You were at CU when he was playing, huh?
His last year was the year before me.
Oh, okay.
He got drafted in 2000, I think, and his last year was 99.
Okay. Well, yeah.
Dave still has one of the harder questions ever answered.
Catch 22.
Yeah.
I'm still proud of that
incredible.
one. I listened to Keesby Nights, that was their best record. I listened to that like on the way home after that.
Good. All right, we're going to start off with geography. Question number 1. Dave, name 5 cities that start with Saint.
Saint?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay.
St. Louis, St. Paul, St. Augustine.
Okay.
Florida. Right?
Yep.
Okay. So I have some on my list, but that doesn't mean I have a. So we're at 3.
Is it has to be Saint, right?
Yeah, it can't be like San Diego. It can't be the Spanish version of
that's
Saint.
true.
St. Mary's,
Oh, okay. Wait, where's St. Mary's?
Idaho.
Oh, they
Up north.
Okay.
That's where.
Yeah.
That's where.
That's true.
Jeff Choate's from.
Okay,
All right.
there's 4.
One more.
And there's holy crap.
Do we have a time on this, or are we just going to let him go?
There should be, but
Okay, we'll give him
I-
20 seconds from right now.
Okay, that's fair.
Saint.
I know that's
I
what I was
don't
like.
know that I could get this 5th one. Just let you know, you got 8 seconds left.
So no.
All
Can't
right.
believe-
Okay, speak now or forever hold your
Is that
peace
it?
here.
is that it? 2 seconds?
Yeah.
Dave,
Yep,
we need an
yep.
answer. Ah,
What's another one? Why can't I think of
there's
4?
another Idaho Saint, St. Anthony.
St. Anthony, okay. What
There's
other-
St. Petersburg.
Oh, St. Petersburg.
Is that
There's-
Florida?
Yeah. St. Lawrence, is that a city?
There's a St. Lawrence River.
St. Lawrence River. I don't know if it's a city.
Should have just said a name. Saint and a name.
I just did say St. Michael's.
Saint,
Yeah,
Saint
exactly.
Southern.
Yeah.
St. Southern.
Well, 4 out of 5.
I-
Sorry, Dave.
Yeah, no,
That's
it's all
a,
good.
that's a tough one
Yeah.
because that's
That's a
5
tough one.
questions in one right there.
Should have
That's
thought
a
St.
tough one.
Petersburg because I said St. Augustine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that's
I
Florida.
didn't have that
St.
one.
Petersburg is.
All right. Question number 2. Focus in. You know Sinbad, the actor. Of course, I had to go here.
Matt is obsessed with Sinbad the actor.
Think of your favorite Sinbad movie.
Do you have one?
No, just don't say yes or no.
Okay.
Think of your second favorite Sinbad movie.
Okay.
Now think of your third.
Oh my gosh.
What was your third
My third
favorite Sinbad movie?
would have been First Kid.
That's right.
First
what was
Kid?
one? Come on.
Jingle All the Way,
Oh,
Jingle All the Way would have been top
which,
3 for
which
me.
was filmed in Minnesota.
In Minnesota. Okay.
What was number 2?
Oh, number 2,
Do you know?
I don't know. I would have just said
House Guest or Necessary Roughness?
Necessary Roughness. Probably.
Okay.
I was right.
House
would've been
Guest. House
The
Guest.
right
gotta be
order.
top 3,
the right
right?
order was House Guest, Necessary Roughness,
And Jingle All the Way.
No, then First Kid. Jingle All the Way for me doesn't even make the
What was
list.
First
because
Kid?
of-
I never even seen
He was
that.
with the kid
He
from
was
Home
the- he was
Alone,
the Secret
Zachary
Service
Ty
agent.
Bryan,
He was like the Secret Service agent,
Yeah.
and the kid was the
president's
president's son.
son.
Sinbad is like, I'm sorry. That's forever ago. That was like 30 years ago.
Yeah,
or something.
it was.
All right.
You got it.
So 1 for 1.
Necessary
Or
Roughness.
No, 1 for 2.
Necessary Roughness is a great movie. I love that movie.
All right.
Growing up, Kathy Ireland is a kicker.
Yeah.
Come on.
Scott Bakula.
Bakula. Hector Elizondo is the head coach. Jason Bateman was in it.
Was he really?
Yeah, yeah.
Wow.
Oh,
Star-studded cast.
What was the name of the school? This isn't a question, but
Wow.
was it like the
Texas State,
Texas State? I was gonna say North
which
Texas.
became
but-
was Texas San Marcos became Texas State.
Yeah.
But TSU Armadillos.
Okay, here we go.
Horse
Question number 3 in the movie Christmas Vacation, National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation. What flavor was the Jell-O that Aunt Bethany wrapped in her Christmas gift?
Oh, I was just giving them hard ones. You know, you're paying the price for Bedell's
It's fair.
easy
It's fair.
questions.
Bedell didn't get these. So cousin Eddie tastes it.
Yeah.
That's. Have you seen the movie?
no idea.
Oh, I've seen it.
Do you remember the color of the Jell-O?
Was it grape?
It was not grape.
What is it?
He's like, that's lime.
That's
That's
lime.
lime? How do you come up with that question?
We just watched it today.
Oh, okay. All right. Giving them hard ones, man. You're going to make them earn it.
The alternative to that question was, would you have known who wrapped up the Jell-O? Would you have known it was Aunt Bethany?
No.
Okay.
Wrapped
No.
up the Jell-O.
I thought that one was
I'm
easier.
lost on this one.
Yeah, just go watch it. She's like losing it mentally.
Okay, I'm lost on this
She
one. I'm
wrapped
sorry.
her cat up in
Jell-O.
a box and some Jell-O.
All right. Okay.
1 for 3, Dave.
Yeah. Making it hard on Dave.
Let's gotta study up next.
This is super hard then.
Oh my God. You're really punishing Dave for Bedell's for your
Dave
sins.
has a standing Jeopardy invite.
Correct.
He
Well,
took the, what's it called? The
it's-
anytime test.
It's the anytime test, and then I did the second one, then I took the third one, and that's after the third one you get in the pool. So
Are you in the pool?
I am not anymore. There was an 18-month
oh.
period where they would have called you, and I didn't get the call, so I just got to take the test.
And that's
again.
why I do
Super
this
impressive
for Dave.
trivia knowledge on Dave's part. But making it hard, making him earn it.
This may be too hard.
Okay.
This famous Canadian actor is the oldest person to fly in space.
Oh man.
Think of Canadian actors. Think of who's getting up there in age. Which this person, by the way, I didn't know is 93 years old.
Can we give male or female? It's got to be male.
And he has a space related acting history.
Okay.
Like the
Space
show,
for
the
the
series
actor.
he was on.
Shatner.
William Shatner.
Whoa, man. There you go. Oh, yeah, because he went up with Jeff Bezos.
Did he?
Yeah.
Is that what it was?
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
that makes sense. Yep.
Yeah, he did.
Also, St. Croix. It's on the west side of Wisconsin, just over the Minnesota
St.
border.
Croix, man.
St.
He's thinking
Croix.
of everything.
No, it's too late. Anyway,
It's too late. All right, 2 for 4.
Extra ones don't make up for it.
You know, the 3 for 5 is a solid outing. Just to give you a heads up on this.
Especially
Yes.
when I'm, really trying to.
Yeah, of course.
This is easily the hardest one he's given to. So,
Number 5, so we know Post Malone's coming to the Blue
and Jelly Roll.
and Jelly Roll in the summer. Number 5, which is not the name of a Post Malone song of these
Oh,
3?
boy. Are you a Post Malone guy? Oh, no. We got a problem. Of these 3 songs.
Yeah. So it's multiple choice.
Okay.
Number 1, I Had Some Help. Number 2, Money, Trouble, and Love. Or number 3, 92 Explorer, which is not a Post Malone song.
92?
The 92 Explorer. Like the year
92.
92.
Okay.
92 Explorer. So I Had Some Help, Money, Trouble, and Love, 92 Explorer, which is not a Post Malone song.
92 Explorer. What is it? Is it number 1?
It's number 2.
Money,
right?
Trouble, and Love.
Yeah, I knew I had some help. That's like his most.
I thought I had heard that one.
That's the one with
Whoa.
That's the one with Morgan Wallen, right?
Yeah, Morgan Wallen. That one's going around a lot. 2 for 5.
Ooh.
That was a tough outing. 2 for 5. Easily the hardest one.
I was looking forward to that though.
You were one
Were
away
you?
from 3 for 5.
Yeah, I know.
with
I know.
the
I was.
Saints.
I was.
true.
Hell yeah. I was of course looking forward to the questions.
Yeah.
And it's hard for me to know what Dave is going to know and what
Right.
he's not going to know.
Totally fair.
Well,
Totally. fair.
National Lampoon. That's going.
Well, that's
way
a famous
back.
movie, man. I've
All
seen
right.
Yeah,
it
I've,
like
I've seen it a couple times, but I
only
but not-
twice.
No, I said a couple times.
Okay.
But
I may have seen that once.
Isn't a couple
I just-
twice?
Well,
could be 3 or 4.
Yeah.
I thought a few was 3.
wow. Now we're getting into specific. Now you're just angry. Now you're just having a hard day.
But I'm always. But it's like that was
All right.
the kids were Johnny Galecki
Yeah.
and Julia Lewis. That was the best of the kids.
Yeah.
That's why Matt
He
likes
knows
Dave
those.
so much because he knows so much random trivia.
I wanted
like random
off the
stuff.
my
air,
thing.
we should
Catch
nerd out over
up
trivia
about
or
it.
something,
Yes.
but,
All right.
I make my
Anytime.
kids watch Jeopardy with me.
Yeah.
Do you guys have any predictions on the Oregon State game? They just beat Washington State, which sucks, I think.
Yeah, that was impressive.
Yeah. Wasn't on a last second field goal. I thought it was on a
close.
last second field
Yeah.
goal. Okay.
You going to the game, Dave?
I'll be there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
Day
won't
after
be.
Thanksgiving.
Taking
won't
my
be.
daughter. She loves games more than anything.
Yeah.
She's 3.
Can she like at 3? Does she really love like going to the game? What
Yeah.
does she love the most about the games?
You know what she loves the most is the horse,
Okay.
Buster,
Yep.
Blitz,
Oh, Blitz is amazing. Yeah.
all the light shows and
Yeah.
sounds and fireworks. Pretzels, the pretzels at Albertson Stadium, not bad for stadium pretzels. They're pretty good.
These aren't the like. Don't they have some that are filled?
When do
Have
you
a
get
filling in
when
them?
do you get the pretzels? Pregame or midgame?
Usually at like around after the first quarter ish.
And the line's
get her
not
to
too long?
halftime. No, honestly, it goes by decently quick.
You're on the west side or the east side? Which
We
side
are
is it?
on the west side.
Okay.
Do you have many people say stuff to you like, "Hey, Dave"?
I do.
Yeah.
Yeah, I get it. It's awesome.
Yeah.
My wife, my parents, everyone always just kind of give me crap because sometimes like while we're walking to our seats, like I'll say hi to random people, they'll stop me, people recognize me, like, hey, and
Yeah.
my wife's like, you just love it, you know it, you know.
Oh no, no,
was like,
honey.
oh, what?
Yeah, stop.
Brandon, you and I know what it's like.
Dude, actually, I was going to tight in listener of the week.
Yeah.
Listener
Oh,
of the
there you
week.
go.
We're eating. It's Sean from In and Out.
Well, he doesn't work at In-N-Out.
Doesn't work in and out.
We saw
Sean,
him at
he's
In-N-Out.
Sean was eating it In and Out. Matt and I were just eating there this week at the new one by the mall.
Yeah.
What was your experience? Was it not very busy?
First of all, do you like In and Out?
Yeah, I do.
Okay. Right in.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Right in.
Right in. Get your food. Sit down. No line. No big.
I think
hullabaloo.
that one is better than the Village because of the layout. The Village is just one big rectangle.
The
right?
inside. Is that
Yeah.
what
The
you're talking about?
seating it doesn't seem to be.
Oh, the one of the villages is thinner but longer.
Yeah.
Yes, I
And
know what
this
you're talking
one
about.
is like more of the traditional
just-
In-N-Outs I've seen that have the counter that's a little angled and.
No, if you
Yeah,
want to
it-
eat at an In and Out, go to that one.
Yeah, every time I've gone by, there's been a line, but not like a,
Yeah.
oh my God, what am I doing? You
Yeah.
know?
I've been there twice and never even had to wait,
It's awesome.
which is wild.
Highly recommend it.
Sean from In and Out, wherever you are, he came up and said, you guys are doing an amazing job. So he's a suspect. character already,
Yeah.
but awesome guy, good looking guy for sure. He's the listener of the week because he's awesome.
Because he said hi.
Because he said hi. So thanks. So that we had our own little Dave Southern moment.
That's fantastic.
Where we could do that.
What are your thoughts on Oregon State, Brandon?
Oh, as far as if we're going to win or not, is that what you're talking about? I haven't, I'm going to be honest, I haven't looked at Oregon State very much.
They've got too many Colorado transfers to be a good team. I'm just kidding. Center, running back. But what's funny is Giovanni McCoy transferred there from Idaho, and he was awesome at Idaho.
At quarterback?
Yeah.
Okay.
He was awesome at Idaho.
Hasn't been.
Has not been at Oregon State.
Bunch of guys transferred away from Idaho at the end of last year.
Yeah. Yeah. They're much better on the ball than throwing. I think they'll be a decent matchup physically just because of what they still returned from last year, what Jonathan Smith had before.
Because this is Jonathan Smith's first season away, right?
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct. So it's Trent Bray now.
Yeah.
And so they're not nearly as talented as they were, but just they're a physical team. I hate to say it, probably reminds me more of a Wyoming than maybe other teams, but I do think that I think Boise State will be able to handle it because they're not a threat with the quarterback play. Whether it's McCoy, particularly the other quarterback that's been in there, neither one has really done much. That run game's or that throwing game's not a threat, but their physical run the ball, like they're not bad. Anthony Hankerson, the CU transfer, is pretty good.
We could make their quarterback look pretty good. Yeah, we could do that. You know, it'd be interesting. It would be interesting if, after the season to sit down with Penry and just say, what was it like? Yeah. Like, what was it like to go through the Dion, all that stuff, transferring away? What are your thoughts on it? I'd be really interested to hear that experience.
Yeah. And in being there while they were just atrocious and then to come to a place where they win a lot.
Yeah. I just wonder, I want us to win. I want us to win comfortably. I want everybody to think, okay, that's how they should have won. I want to feel good about it. I want it to be an entertaining game. And then get Jeanty out early, make sure he's not injured. Get a few of our guys back, like Mason Randolph would be cool to get back. Andrew Simpson, maybe Tubner, although they're probably out for forever. I don't know.
For all we know.
Yeah. So that's what
got to notify their families first.
Yeah, I guess once the whole family notification happens, maybe they can come out. I don't know. Let's say 42. I'd like that. I'd be like 42-28.
That's fair.
High scoring event.
Yeah. Probably wouldn't cover because I bet they'll be like 20-point favorites. But
I thought I saw them at like 16.
Okay, there you go.
But it'll probably change.
I'm going to say 37-13.
Wow.
Nice.
Okay.
37 is a weird number.
But 2 field goals and a touchdown, huh? All right.
42-20.
42-20. Bring it. All right. We're all feeling good about it. Hopefully we win.
I think so.
Hopefully we win by a lot.
Back on the blue.
Yeah. Hopefully we win by a lot.
Might be weird because it's Black Friday.
Yeah.
But
at 10 a.m.
in the morning.
Yeah. But the every other game theory.
Yeah.
Maybe
Mad Dog should be back on.
Yeah, baby. I like that idea.
Anything else?
No. Thanks for listening.
Yeah, that's going to do it for
another
us today.
2-hour episode.
Yeah.
Hang in there with us.
Dave,
thanks, everybody.
Yeah.
Thanks for coming.
Oh,
Dave's the
you
man.
guys, I love it. We'll do it again soon.
Can't wait for round 3. Hopefully it's sooner than next November.
Yes.
November 2025. Yep. Bring it.
Yeah. I won't be here next time you record.
All right.
So
well, we got to find
at least
somebody.
I don't think so. But anyway, thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. If you're on YouTube, obviously do all those things. Like, subscribe, all that stuff. Follow Dave on Twitter.
Follow Dave.
Yeah.
All that. Dave's a good follow.
Don't get him kicked off.
I won't get blocked.
Go Broncos. See you next time.
Broncos.